Part 3. There are two prevailing conversations surrounding the show. Is it boring? And is it Star Wars? I can only answer the first question subjectively. I find it engaging, stimulating, and emotionally effective on all levels. I can see how someone whose attention span rivals that of a fruit fly and whose mainstays are either constant and over-the-top action and adventure, or the absolute banality and torturous inanity of reality television, could have their senses overwhelmed and therefore shut down by the nuanced and detail-oriented social and political intrigue unraveling at a slower but suitable pace in Andor. But is it Star Wars? Objectively, the answer is no. It has no lightsabers, no Force users, no Skywalkers, no epic story of easily defined good versus overtly evil. Those are all things that one immediately thinks about when describing a Star Wars property. Ironically, this is the first iteration of the IP to truly show the breadth of the intergalactic casualties of a war among the stars. Up to this point, it's been a very personal story of familial triumph and tragedy. So far, we've only seen the kings and queens playing out the final gambits in the endgame of a long-running chess match. This is where we get to see the pawns leading the charge, where we get to see those opening moves and uncelebrated sacrifices that open doors and allow the larger pieces room to find a strategic vantage point. Is it Star Wars? To me, it most certainly is. The best parts, the excellent storytelling, the surprising moment-to-moment emotional investment, the immaculately designed sets and stunning cinematography. Probably not to those that I will heretofore refer to as brand whores. To them, Star Wars is a social community of like-minded Muppets that find a sad solidarity swinging plastic lightsabers at each other while arguing about the price of blue milk at Galaxy's Edge. For them, it's about the camaraderie of the recognizable. That dopamine hit from all the things that we collectively identify with Star Wars. This is not a show about those things. This is not a water cooler talking point, can you believe they did that? Parade of the patentedly familiar. This is not a toy line, nor a graphic novelization. This is a well-told story about the things in life that we take for granted. Freedom, security, comfort. For me, it's about the quality of the product, and that's where Andor shines. We find Cyril Karn, former deputy inspector for the Galactic Empire, now removed from duty due to the events of Ferrix, looking for work with help from his mother and her contacts in high places. Their dynamic is engaging and slightly estranged. She berates him at every opportunity, calling into question even the neckline on the outfit he's chosen to wear for an interview with the Galactic Bureau of Standards. Her analysis of the motivation behind the tailoring of his neckline, while abrupt, is also very insightful. She is clearly a woman who knows angles and the finer points of social construct. A galactic news program is on the television, and we see Cyril's first reaction to the Aldhani heist having taken place. The ISB commanders convene a meeting and decide how tightly to close their fist around the galaxy, going to brutal lengths in an attempt to root out the perpetrators of the Aldhani payroll heist. Again, this is some Class A writing. We get to see the results of Andor's band of mercs causing the Empire to implement methods and policies that will absolutely hurt a great many star systems. And we have to wonder, is it worth it? Does the greater good truly outweigh the life-sustaining status quo in this case? Lieutenant Dedra Miro thinks not. She believes that they are playing right into the hands of the rebels by displaying such villainous policies, and she might be right. Another lieutenant, Blevins, challenges her investigative methodology. Major Partagaz assumes the role of moderator in their brief tete-a-tete and decides that Miro's findings warrant further investigation, telling her quietly to watch her back. The interpersonal politics on display in each of these ISB briefing scenes are some of the best in the show. Control for the flow of information is constantly shifting, and we can see how the bureaucratic machine runs too slowly and too ponderously to keep up with a small band of fast-moving and dedicated criminals. Luthen receives another visit from Mon Mothma, who is only now realizing that Luthen and his band are behind the heist. Her dedication to the cause wavers as she's now a major financier for the rebellion, and her political facade is in danger of collapse. The tension in these scenes is always beautifully multi-layered. Under the guise of antiquities trading, Luthen and Mon are able to engage in a powerful, if tenuous, strategic, business-like relationship at the heart of the rebellion, all under the ever-watchful eye of the Empire. Again, the question is asked, does this plan, the sabotaging of the status quo, the forcing of the villainous hand of Palpatine, truly benefit the greater good? Or is this just a minor inconvenience to the Galactic Empire? Karn attends his interview for the position at the Bureau of Standards and is shown favoritism when his part in the Ferrix fiasco is revealed. Andor and the surviving members of the small group of rebel mercenaries have disbanded post-heist. Rael meets with Vel on Coruscant and urges her to find and eliminate Andor, as he now poses a threat to the rebel cause by being a known fugitive. Andor pays a visit to his surrogate mother on Ferrix, pays off a debt, and attempts to get her to leave the planet so that they can disappear together with the money he's stolen. She has no idea what he's done or that he's behind the now widely reported heist, but she's inspired by the actions of whomever it was that put a financial slap to the face of the Empire. She chooses to remain on Ferrix, determined to fight the Empire on her own terms. Again, the characterization is sublimely woven into the narrative. This is an elderly woman so motivated by the actions of a few rebellious freedom fighters that she denies herself the prospect of comfort in exchange for the possibility of making even a small impact for the greater good. Every person can make a difference. Mon Mothma holds a dinner party where she approaches her old friend Kolma to request his help in accessing her family's vast wealth. The gleefully sticky conversation weaves masterfully between playful banter and cool subtext as Mon attempts to gauge whether or not she can trust him with the politically destructive nature of her request. There's a sly, smirk-inducing moment where he reveals that he might be more rebellious than she can handle, and the turnabout to her reveal of same is absolute conversational perfection. The final scene may be the most impactful of the episode. Andor is staying on Niamos, a tropical beach planet. As he walks casually to the store for food, he's mistaken by a shore trooper for one of a group of troublemakers causing an insurgency. He is immediately arrested and sentenced to 6 years in prison, thereby showing us one of the many results of his actions against the Empire. Prior to the heist and subsequent mandates, the infraction would have only been a 6-month sentence. Again, the question of the greater good hangs, lingering over everything like the sword of Damocles. The constantly shifting sands beneath the feet of this conceptual cat and mouse is what truly holds the show together. No one is safe. No one is able to enjoy the concept of complacency. No one has firm ground to stand on. At the risk of bruising the metaphor, every character is either a fish or a fisherman, and the net draws ever tighter, inch by inch, moment to moment.